All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the Tennocon 2021 breakdown. So we have a massive amount of very exciting things to talk about because this was a full Tennocon. There's a lot to discuss and a lot of things that I was not expecting at all to get that we were shown today. That being said, whenever you break it down into a list, it doesn't seem like that much, but there really is a lot here. So we're probably going to spend quite a bit of time on a lot of these different points that we're looking at. First and foremost, though, let's talk about the drops situation. For those of you that were watching on Twitch, they have put out a post here. There are some, updates here for things that were completed, but basically the whole stuff is that the relays, due to Warframe breaking its all-time highest concurrent player count, the relays and the servers were dying, literally being murdered as we watched on Tennocon, on the Tennocon stream, which was at like 500,000 viewers, I believe, at one point. Just absolute insanity was occurring the whole time. So, as we can read here from DE Mola, during the stream, we had hoped to host an interactive experience where we set up a relay and share a series of scenes with you running on your own platform in real time. As a gift for participating, everybody who joined the relay during the live experience would receive the Tennocon armor and the Tennocon sword skin. Because, unfortunately, we ran into a serious number problem due to the overwhelming number of enthusiastic Tenno that were trying to join in on the fun. These problems could not be remedied in the very short time frame that we had available. We are not confident that everybody was able to see the interactive demo or that they have gotten the gift that we wanted to give. Because of that uncertainty, we will send the Tennocon items via inbox message to anybody that logged into the game on July 17th after 9 a.m. Eastern and during Tennocon. We apologize for disappointment for those that are not able to see the live relay experience. So, if you are missing that armor and sword skin, they're going to do their very best to get that to you. If you were watching the streams and the drops are not there for you yet, whether you don't have Loki Prime or anything else, because of just the absolute sheer volume of just people, it's probably going to be a little bit backed up. That being said, a couple of things to note for getting your drops, if you have them, is you have to have your account linked on Twitch. Of course, if you don't have your account linked, there's no way you were going to get a drop because the accounts are not linked. That wasn't going to happen. And if you got a drop, if you have not claimed it yet, there is a drops inventory. So if you are on Twitch, in the top right, click your icon for your profile and go to the drops section. And there's also an inventory area where you can claim stuff that you have not yet claimed. So you should go and do that. And if you have stuff in there that you got, that'll be why you didn't get it yet, because you didn't claim it. So just a couple of things there at the top to talk about in terms of people getting their drops and things. Just wanted to go over that first. Now, outside of that, we have one disappointing, but not really that much. It's kind of makes a lot of sense. Piece of news, which is that there's no current old frame reworks planned. That being said, given a lot of the other stuff that they are very clearly working on, that's not very surprising at all. And it doesn't, I don't think, preclude any old frames from getting a rework. It's just that stuff isn't in the plans right now, which seems pretty realistic, honestly. It seems like with all the stuff that we're about to talk about, that just makes perfect sense. With that, though, there are no old frame reworks, but there is a brand new Warframe, and that new Warframe is Caliban. Caliban is a new sentient Warframe, and that is different from Revenant because Revenant is an Eidolon Warframe, and I know, obviously, the Eidolons are sentients, but these two things are different, and we do not have very many details about Caliban other than we already have his passive. His passive is literally adaptation, the adaptation that the sentients get, but it will work on himself and also his teammates, it seems to be. So just from a baseline design level, looks really cool. I mean, he looks sentient AF, and he's got a big, cool scythe, maybe polearm type weapon. Looks neat. His passive sounds like it'll be sweet. Obviously, adaptation is an incredibly strong effect, so it's kind of hard to go wrong when that's your passive, and seems really nice. Seems like a cool new Warframe concept, and that should be coming relatively soon, I hope. Probably with this next big update, which we don't have a specific date on, but we know is coming in 2021, so hopefully soon. I mean, I really want it, so hopefully as soon as possible, right? Moving on, we have an evolving armor that is also going to be in the next update, which is more of a small note, but basically you're going to acquire the base level of this armor, and through some processes that they did not detail, you will slowly evolve it into the kind of higher level and these larger, more elaborate forms. They did clarify with this that you're basically going to be unlocking higher forms of it, so you're still going to be able to use, say, if you really like the very bottom level leg armors, you're still going to be able to use those with like the top level fully evolved armors. So you're going to be able to mix and match these pieces, and it's essentially just going to be an armor set that you kind of unlock over time. I would suspect that this would be through some sort of like either material farm or like a set of challenges, perhaps. And this is a really nice concept. I like the idea of like leveling up a cosmetic and like getting through like a bunch of challenges or whatever, and then having something to show for it. I think that's super awesome, and I think this is a great idea to go with, you know, like ephemeras and other things that we've been getting lately. Seems awesome. Also, we have a new bow that I thought that was particularly interesting, which is a new sentient bow that is both a short bow and a long bow. Obviously, I'm gonna have to explain the difference there. Short bows like would be like the quick firing, like quick pull stuff like the dread that we have, and the long bows would be more like slow firing, like more like a Kuva Brahma, and like that big huge pullback, but then a shitload of damage on the other end. So this weapon seems really cool. Having a transforming bow, that's something that we don't have, and this could very easily have a lot of properties that make it extremely powerful. You know, like jaw-dropping damage or AoE, etc., etc. All kinds of cool things go on with this. Very cool visually as well, of course. And then after that, we have some sentient enemy concepts to talk about, and this first one is technically not quite a sentient, but it is evolved Ballus, kind of like the new version of Ballus. We got to see this in concept form, and this looks really cool. I think it's a really nice touch that he has like the marionette leg hanging off the bottom to kind of like still have 2 feet, because he's got like the kind of vestigial limb that has been hanging off him for a while now. This is kind of a neat update to Ballus's design. It does make me question what's going to be going on in the new war in terms of like story stuff with Ballus, whether he's like masterminding the whole thing or what the case is, but very cool visual design upgrade for that. And then 2 new enemies, which are this like really weird priest guy that has the same type of weapon that Ballus does, and just looks very creepy and like very face-eaty. So he's very unsettling. And then also this enemy, which I immediately upon seeing this enemy, the question was, what scale is this at? And I get this enemy gives me the feeling that they are huge. Also, they are like a morphed and absorbed Warframe, which is just unsettling. Like the big crazy snakehead, like Dark Souls Sen's Fortress looking ass, big crazy snake enemy, just looks super neat. And the things floating behind them are like from the cartridges in its like extended spine, and it's a really neat concept. So I can't wait to see these in game. They will probably be some pretty interesting enemies, and, you know, expanding kind of the roster of sentient enemies that we'll have in the game, and that stuff just looks great. Now, then we have 3 deluxe skins to talk about. First and foremost, we have the Volt deluxe skin, which, oh, he deserves it. He deserves it so much. Obviously, the Volt proto skin, I am not a fan of at all, but this skin looks super sweet. It looks like it's sentient themed, but with, of course, like the electricity and stuff that you would anticipate to get from Volt. Looks super awesome in concept. Can't wait to see it in game. Looks real nice. And then we have Baruch, who has a very weird deluxe skin, in that he is like this like 4-armed Asura like goat man thing. I don't know like what. Obviously this seems like, you know, kind of like a bunch of like references and things put together into like one whole that just looks really cool. But it's a really interesting design. I really wonder if there are going to be some like additional animations for like this skin using all 4 arms during like Baruch's ult and stuff. I think that could be really awesome. But this skin is super interesting and very cool. And then finally, we have the one that everyone is very excited for, and very much myself is excited for, because this is my favorite Warframe at current, because she has surpassed Mesa slightly. Protea's deluxe skin. This deluxe skin looks so nice. I love the redesigns on her gadgets. I think the whole, like with the collar, with the fur, just the entire, everything about this skin is incredible. It is just so nice looking. Like all that I can hope is that of these 3 deluxe skins, this is the one that we see first, because it is chef's kiss. It is incredible. What a fantastic concept. We can only hope that it translates from this amazing concept just as well like into the game, and that the color channels are really good. because this looks phenomenal, and I cannot wait to play more Protea using this, because it's just absolutely great. And this is one of the kind of fan artists, well, not fan, but they paid them, but fan artists, like concept kind of stuff from the community, basically, and they just did a killer job, just absolutely crushing it on that one. So that's phenomenal. And then, speaking of new Warframe designs, we have a look at Nidus Prime. So I decided, instead of just going with like all of like the concept art and stuff for Nidus, they did show Nidus's model both evolved, which is the all black model you see there with all the tendrils and everything, and the kind of unevolved version. I figured I would just show all that stuff together by just showing this, because these are the in-game models that we're going to be getting. For me personally, I think he looks incredible. I think this is like a very nice elevated approach to what Nidus is. The main thing that I'm worried about for this Nidus Prime is that the new kind of like black goo that he kind of accrues instead of like the very, very infested looking visuals that we have right now for his base model. I really hope that there is an adjustment to what his abilities look like, because if they are not matching with like the way that he evolves into, it's going to be really hard not to just default to using the Frike skin, because the visuals matching with that stuff is going to really matter for me personally. So that, you know, it's just got like a really cohesive feel to, like, you know, putting the creep on the ground and like having that, instead of being that infested area, having it be like this weird black, like ooze moss, like Resident Evil 7 looking effect. I think it's really, really nice, and I can't wait to play this. It seems like it's just going to be a really fun time. Obviously, also going to be interesting to see what stats get boosted on Nidus. But yeah, looks absolutely incredible. So that, can't wait for that. Also, news on the Nightwave. We have some information on the Nightwave ending, and we're just going to go over that real quick. This was posted on the forums. Basically, Intermission 3 is ending on July 28th, which is coming up here. That is less than 12 days. So you got a little bit of time to finish up the intermission, but of course, as we recently did a speed run of the Nightwave, it seems like it's very, very possible to get the intermission done, even from just right now. Even if you're only like level 10, it's probably going to be a pretty simple ordeal to get that straight to 30 plus and be riding through and grabbing your Umbra Forma and all the kind of business that you need. Then we have Nora's Choice. Nora's Choice is what they are calling the new way that they're going to be doing Nightwave. And I really hope that this way to do Nightwave continues and becomes consistent over time. So we are just going to go through here and just read the brief bit here. Greetings, dreamers. At Tennocon 2021, we announced the Nightwave Intermission 3 is coming to an end on July 28th, etc., etc. When Nightwave Intermission 3 has concluded, there will be a transition into Nightwave Nora's Choice. This brings back some of Nora's favorite rewards, but also introduces the new exclusive Eurelian Action Glyph and the Waveform Ephemera for the first time. You can tune into Nora's Choice beginning August 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. There will still be duplicate protection, absolutely phenomenal, and then there are some other upcoming changes that we've gone over this post before, but we shifted our focus from Nightwave to develop the new War and Beyond in Warframe. Nightwave is a regular and reliable reward track for Tenno of all experience levels. Play and get cool stuff. Continuing in Nora's Choice will allow us to ensure we give the new War the attention it deserves. Our goal is to have a simultaneous release across all platforms and have that remain the same. So this, basically what this tells to me is I think they're just trying to go for this. And I really just hope that we just have Nora's Choice in perpetuity. What we're looking for is a lot of good evergreen items for players, like kind of no matter where you're at. And then also a cool new glyph and a neat ephemera, or like a neat set of armor, or like, hey, here's some cool new weapon augments that we decided to put in this. Like just some like, hey, here's some rewards that are in there. And then otherwise there's not like this big involved story tied to it. Just a few things here and there, like, I don't know, like, you know, every other month or every 3 months or whatever it has you, to make it more regular, and that people can like get through this stuff and get those rewards and have it be very nice and just a consistent piece of content that people want to do. I think that's going to be great. I think that is a fantastic place for the Nightwave to end up. And I think it's just going to be purely positive for kind of the outlook of Nightwave going forward, as a thing that all players just like, you know, oh, you should do that because the rewards are good. And also, like, it refreshes regularly, and you can plan on when it ends and when it starts. I think that's really where Nightwave needs to go. Now then, we have possibly the biggest announcement. There is going to be cross-save, cross-play, and mobile Warframe. And what I mean by mobile is I mean cell phones. I mean cell phone Warframe. And this stuff looked like it was pretty far along. Although they said for the release date, was that it's going to be in development, not even like stated for this year, but it was working on the dev stream, and it's crazy to me. There are a million questions to go at from this, because whenever you're combining cross-save, crossplay, and mobile, there's just so much. There's so many implications. There's so many questions. There's so much to answer. You could probably write you could write a thesis on the amount of the different intricate things that they need to go through and figure out what they're doing with in order to make this work, because there are just so many different facets to look at. For example, there's Tennocon, which is a Steam thing, but also some of the Tennocon has been crossed over onto the consoles and sold for platinum there, but it's real money only on the PC version and stuff. What do you do with the items that exist in both places? If you go onto your console and buy it with platinum, can you then use it everywhere else? Are they going to stop importing the different Tennocon stuff onto the consoles for platinum, and then you're expected to sign in on PC, buy it through Steam, and then you just have it on all the other platforms? Is that the way that is maybe going to work? That is a really big question to ask in terms of how we're going to be accessing Tennocon. And then there's the trading implications of it all. Adding such a giant player base with the mobile version, assuming that like the mobile version is widely accessible to like a lot of different phones, which would of course be the goal. If you have that happen and have that player base increase, and then also cross that over with all of the player bases now being able to play together, you get an absolute incredible mess of supply and demand in terms of items, and the market for items in game is going to go absolutely insane, and no one's going to know what to do. Prices as they stand right now are so different from like the PC version to the PS4 version to the Xbox version to the Switch. Everything is crazy already. When people from different platforms try and talk about the cost of things, that stuff's already nuts, and it's only going to get more crazy whenever we start intermingling all the platforms. Also, the different things about like, are you going to be able to trade between platforms? Like, is like your platinum going to be like platform specific? Is it going to be like kind of the same way that Fortnite works? I assume this is going to be a thing that's going to be in here, because I think this has to do with like console deals and like the way business is done. Where like if you're logging into your PlayStation account for like playing your Warframe account, then the platinum that you have on the PlayStation platform came from the PlayStation platform, and any platinum that you would have bought on the PC platform, you would have to go back to the PC platform and spend or trade there. How is that going to work? Is like what there's a million questions about how this is going to intermingle. But I have said in the past that I don't particularly want crossplay. With that, I hope they are not making the mistake of crossplay. And in particular, the thing that worries me about this is the Switch. And I'm going to go into why. So the thing that worries me about crossplay is that whenever you are developing the update that you're going for, say the new war, which is what we're coming up on, and you're needing to put it on all of the consoles and all of the SKUs and everything else all at once. When one isn't ready, that means none of them are ready. And the big concern for me, the very big concern in particular, is that the Switch version of Warframe is done by Panic Button, and they are magic working devs. They put Doom on the Switch, which is a feat in and of itself. But what if Panic Button's not available to catch the Switch up? Like, do they have some like long-standing agreements that are going to make it so that this is not going to be a problem? Or are we just going to come to a point where it's like, well, Panic Button is busy for 3 months, so we can't update the game? Like, that's the type of stuff that I really hope doesn't happen. So I hope that like protections have been like put in place so that like, you know, the devs are able to like still get content out and put updates out. The background for doing this stuff and like, you know, getting all like the different deals with like all the console manufacturers and everything and all this business is probably an absolute horrific nightmare. But I'd be really interested to see like if this doesn't slow the speed of the updates and stuff, because recently, obviously with the Sisters of Parvos and some recent updates, they have been, you know, universally released on each platform, and we've been getting them at all the same times. And I think with Call of the Tempestari into Sisters of Parvos, we'd have had a really good like cadence of release. Like, it's not been like super far between these, and they've been released on all platforms simultaneously, which is great. And also Call of the Tempestari and Sisters of Parvos, while they both have problems in spots, I think are overall high quality updates. So if they can keep up that quality and then be able to like keep pushing these updates out on all platforms and also still be able to fix things, like if we run into a situation where it's like, well, PC no longer gets hotfixes because everything has to be in sync, that could be problematic, because you know, I mean, that's going to be the case where like this thing just remains broken for like a couple weeks or whatever, and like that can be also a downside to this is that PC players, like, we're used to getting the fixes like, oh, the fix is going to be out tomorrow or whatever. Is it like because of console cert? Well, now we're not going to be able to get those fixes that we would normally have the next day for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, what's going to happen to the kind of update schedule that we've come to, like, you know, expect and understand from being on PC and stuff? It's all a huge, interesting, intricate, just web of just trying to figure out like all the details and where everything goes from here. I think it's going to be super, super interesting. One way or another, I think mobile Warframe is a giant leap forward. That it opens the game up to such a ginormous player base. And I know the immediate joke that people think is like, well, haha, people that are hosting a match from their phone or whatever. But I really don't think that is going to be nearly as much of an issue, because no one is considering, I think, the amount of people that you add together whenever you are combining that many people to play Warframe, because like there's a lot of people that play Warframe that are not on your platform that you particularly play with. You're going to be able to get higher quality matches just due to the sheer volume of people playing Warframe that there's going to be. Like, whenever you look at like what the player base addition is to like the battle royales and stuff that are on mobile, like it is a large amount of players that are getting added to these different platform or to these different games for the purposes of matchmaking people together, which is just going to make connections better just by density of players that are nearer each other. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, very interesting. I definitely did not expect cross-play. I thought cross-save might happen, and I could not have possibly told anyone that they were going to put Warframe on fucking phones. Like, I know it runs on the Switch, and my phone's more powerful than a Switch probably, but still, that's just not something I was expecting at all. With that, let's talk about the new war. So, the new war is very different than I was anticipating. I was expecting kind of like, you know, your traditional, very like kind of expected, hey, we're going to go in, we're going to be operator, we're going to be Warframe, we're going to go in, and it's going to be, you know, another big story quest that is going to conclude some things and be, you know, probably very interesting and like move things along. And it's going to be like a second dream, a war within, et cetera, like a sacrifice, and get some things done and move the story forward. But it is likely that, but also we have additional playable characters. Now, I am going to cut to the introduction to a few of these characters and just some like interesting clips and stuff that I thought was really fun with just kind of my raw reactions from my stream of whenever we were watching all this stuff go down, because I think that's probably like one of the best ways to experience this. I am not going to go over the gigantic, enormous gameplay demo that they just like played out in front of us for what the new war is going to start to entail. I think it all looks incredible. And I'm going to throw these in here so you guys can get like a taste for what's going on here. The playable characters are Call 175, Veso, and Teshin.
Only Call 175.
Is he getting Eldrazi'd? Oh shit, do you play as a Grenier for part of it? That's cool. Call 175. That's badass. Okay, now the worst thing that could happen is if they announce this is a battle royale. That's the worst thing that could happen. Anything but that, I'm cool.
But we will prevail. Regroup.
Hold fast to your stations, crews. Our glorious victory is close at hand.
This is awesome.
Oh, and any remaining tech support narrow band me at once.
Confirming tech aboard. Viso are at your service. Most gilded director. Most
Yes, thank Prophet. My
Yes, thank
overrides
Prophet.
aren't working. I need to break fire control from the fleet. Can you fix?
Oh, this is inside the sentient ship. Oh yeah, playing as the sentient side of the war. I can see that. Nope. What the fuck is up, Teshin? Wake the fuck up, samurai. Fuck yeah.
Orphex fields will be scattered.
The Orphex fields will be scattered deep in the ship.
Hell yeah, dude.
Always can help you triangulate.
Call! Return to call! Rhino? Hell yeah! Call, what you got a hold of? Hell yeah, motherfuckers!
For the queens.
Yeah! Welcome back. So, I think all of that looks incredible. Like, playing as a Grenier, that's really novel, and in a story quest way where they're just trying to get across like what it's like for like the war is amazing. Same thing for the Corpus, having that be like different gameplay that's like more relevant to like how the Corpus faction operates and that stuff. That's all really cool for like story-based interaction and telling like the tale of the war. And obviously Teshin, a very overall important character, he looks fucking badass. His moveset seems crazy cool. And I want to play all of the segments with all of these characters that we saw, in addition to, of course, playing with my Warframe and my operator, etc., etc. All that stuff looks so good. Like the different UI styles, the voice acting for all the characters, just like all the characters being like very intricately different, and like all these things just happening simultaneously and telling a story from different angles. There's so much cool stuff to be done with these different characters being used together in like one like contiguous line, just being able to switch between them. I think that stuff is absolutely awesome. A couple of things that I'm going to note that people have said here. And also that I said my immediate first reaction to like the Grenier is, please don't let this be a battle royale. A number of people have said, hey, what if they made this the PvP, etc., etc. And while I think that there is like some chance that that could actually be like a thing that they maybe do, I also wouldn't bet on it. And I would also probably, very personally for me, rather not have them try PvP again, and instead get more of the type of content that we were seeing here, which is that like hardline story-based content that is like really going for some stuff, because it is absolutely like crazy cool looking. I am such a huge fan of the new war demo. I cannot wait for that to launch. It's coming this year, which is just super great. And yeah, I'm gonna throw some just VSO gameplay up here that I have like in addition to this, but like I can't wait. I cannot wait for this stuff to come out, because it just looks so interesting. And like there's clearly going to be more to this than like just playing as these other characters, just with the way that they've used Era and stuff with this trailer, and like with this stuff going into it. And obviously like the different look to Ballas has some interesting questions that pop up. The Sentients are like attacking the Unum, which has some interesting like probable effects in world for just how things are. I can't wait for it. It looks so good. I am hoping that obviously it's 2021. I'm just hoping it's not December. And yeah, it looks incredible. I cannot wait for this. I am so on board. I am just so on board with everything that has been shown with the new war, and like the new frame looks cool, and just the whole thing I'm just way into. This was a fantastic Tennocon. I think the only thing that could have probably made it better, there's only two things. There's two things that could have probably made it better, and one would be being in person, because I think an in-person demo of this would have been mind-blowing. And obviously, of course, for me, that's a bit different, because it's kind of like a community thing, and I love going to those events and like, you know, seeing everybody and saying hello and having like that fun community interaction. Obviously, we're not going to get that because of the Panini. But the other thing that I think could have made this better is just like a more concise release date, I guess. Like that's really it. Where it's like 2021 is like, oh man, please just tell me it's sooner. Like that's the only way that it could be better, is if like, what if they said and it launches today? Like that's like the kind of dream, because I'm just so excited for like what this could mean for Warframe, and if we're going to get more content that's in this vein and pushing the story forward, because we haven't seen it in so long, and like it usually is just really, really good. But yeah, that's going to do it for the Tennocon 2021 breakdown. What a phenomenal time. What a good. Just what a good. I will see you guys tomorrow to talk probably a little bit more about things in depth with this, if we get any more like, you know, questions from the devs answered or anything like that. I'm super interested in the dev streams going forward. I've like never been more into seeing some like new stuff and what they're working on. I think it was just a phenomenal time. But yeah, goodbye everyone. I will see you tomorrow.